Episode 5 of Stranger Things Season 5 is one of the most important episodes of the season so far. It slows things down just enough to explain Vecna's plan, deepen the emotional weight of the story, and clearly show that this is no longer just a fight against a monster. The episode opens with Will, Joyce, and Mike realizing the full scale of Vecna's success. All 12 children have been taken. Mike's suggestion to return to Squawk is practical, but it also shows growth. In earlier seasons, Mike rushed toward danger. But now, he understands survival matters too. This reflects a recurring theme this season: strategy over impulse. Finding Lucas badly injured in the tunnels grounds the episode emotionally. This reinforces a major idea of the show that real battles leave scars, and not everyone walks away stronger. Lucas seeing Will as a possible second 11 gives the group hope, but Will shuts it down quickly. His powers are not his own. They only work when Vecna or his creatures are near. This introduces a key idea: Will's power exists because of Vecna. That makes Will less of a weapon and more of a parasite host situation. He isn't gaining power, he's borrowing it. Will explains Vecna's plan to reshape the world on November 6th, the same day the Upside Down was created. Symbolically, this means Vecna wants to reset reality, not destroy it. This matters because Vecna doesn't see himself as evil. He sees himself as a corrective force. He believes the world broke on that day, and now he is fixing it. This mirrors real-world extremism. People who believe violence is justified because they think they are restoring balance. Lucas's idea to access Vecna's hive mind by siphoning power from a Demogorgon is desperate, risky, and very on theme for Stranger Things. This reflects one of the show's core beliefs: you don't beat monsters by becoming stronger than them. You beat them by understanding them. The plan itself is disturbing, reanimating a dead creature, which shows how far the group is willing to go. Lucas's plan to use electricity to reanimate a dead Demogorgon is deeply symbolic. Electricity has always represented connection in Stranger Things: lights, radios, portals. Here, electricity becomes a way to force a connection with evil. When Will enters Vecna's mind lair, it confirms that the hive mind is not just shared control, it's shared identity. Vecna isn't just commanding creatures. He is inside them. Will and Robin's conversation is one of the emotional centers of the episode. Robin isn't giving Will a speech about bravery. She's giving him something much more powerful: a future. Vecna feeds on isolation, shame, and feeling broken. Robin directly challenges that by showing Will a world where he is loved and understood. Symbolically, this makes queerness the opposite of Vecna's philosophy. The reveal that the military is harvesting Callie's blood is one of the darkest moments of the season. This reframes everything we know about Hawkins' lab and Brenner. Vecna was abused. 11 was exploited. Callie was drained. Now Kay is repeating the cycle. This confirms a central theme of Episode 5. The Upside Down is not the root of evil. Power without empathy is. Vecna and the government are mirrors of each other. Vecna creates super demons. The government creates super soldiers. Both justify their actions as necessary. Vecna pumping the kids with upside-down slugs is his version of Brenner's experiments. This raises the terrifying idea that as long as superpowered beings exist, the cycle never ends. That's why the episode hints that this story may only end with sacrifice. Vecna's mind lair, Kumasats, is built from memories, not walls. That's why escaping requires understanding the past, not fighting it. Holly retracing her memories is symbolic of healing through confrontation. Trauma cannot be escaped, it must be walked through. Will, controlling Vecna, even briefly, is massive. But the price is severe. Vecna throws him out violently, and the black smoke leaving the Demogorgon confirms that it is the true hive mind. It is the glue, the network, and the source. The group reaching Hawkins' lab brings everything full circle. This is where the cycle began. Dustin's Death Star analogy is simple but effective. Power structures always protect their source. Destroy the source, and everything collapses. Nancy shooting it is a perfect ending for the episode because it represents humanity's flaw. We destroy first, before understanding. Episode 6 is about pressure. Not just physical pressure, but emotional pressure, mental pressure, and moral pressure. Almost every character in this episode is being pulled towards something they are afraid of. A truth, a memory, or a choice they can no longer avoid. The episode opens with chaos at Hawkins' lab, but slowly reveals that the real danger is not just Vecna or the Upside Down. The real danger is what happens when people damage things they don't fully understand, whether that is science, power, or each other. This episode is about understanding what the Upside Down really is and why Vecna exists. The biggest revelation of the episode is simple but powerful. The Upside Down is not another world. It is a wormhole. This changes everything. Until now, the Upside Down felt like an evil mirror of Hawkins, a place with its own rules. But Dustin's discovery, based on Brenner's research, reframes it as something much worse. The Upside Down is a tear in reality, held together by exotic matter. Exotic matter is described as something that breaks the laws of physics. This tells us that this entire situation exists because humans tried to control something that could not be controlled. Nancy shooting the vortex was not an act of evil. It was an act of fear. The rift pulling everything toward the void is symbolic. When people mess with forces they don't understand, everything around them gets dragged down too. This mirrors the entire history of Hawkins' lab. Brenner believed knowledge justified cruelty. The government believed control justified risk. And Vecna is the result of that thinking. The episode reminds us that November 6th is approaching. The same day Will disappeared in 1983. Vecna's plan to merge Earth with another dimension on that exact date suggests that he is trying to complete something that started years ago. The Upside Down being a wormhole supports this idea. A wormhole connects 2 points across space and time. Vecna is not just invading the present. He is rewriting history. Will is the key because Will was the first connection. Vecna does not just see Will as a weapon. He sees him as proof that the world was already weak. Dustin stopping Steve from trying to save Nancy and Jonathan is one of the most important and emotional moments of the season. Eddie's death still lives inside Dustin, and he can't allow himself to lose another friend. Nancy and Jonathan believing they are about to die forces them to stop lying to themselves. For the longest time, their relationship has been about avoidance. Avoiding hard conversations and avoiding the truth that they may want different lives. Their confession scene is honest. They admit they stayed together because it felt safe, not because it felt right. Jonathan revealing he planned to propose is not meant to save the relationship. It is meant to show how close they were to locking themselves into a future built on fear. The exotic matter solidifying at that exact moment is symbolic. When truth is finally spoken, pressure releases. Not forever, but enough to survive. Will being trapped inside Vecna's mind is one of the most tragic ideas in the episode. The plan failed because the group forgot that the connection works both ways. Vecna telling Will that he helped build the tunnels is one of the cruelest moments in the episode. This is not about blaming Will. It is about how trauma forces victims to participate in their own suffering. Will did not choose this, but his connection allowed Vecna to grow. That guilt is exactly what Vecna feeds on. Vecna then locating Max's physical body shows how dangerous the mind-body connection really is. The conflict between Hopper and Callie is one of the most grounded debates in the season. Hopper wants to protect Eleven, even if that means limiting what she can do. Callie understands something Hopper doesn't. Even if Vecna dies, the system that created him will survive. Hopper fears Callie's path leads to self-destruction, and Callie fears Hopper's path leads to repetition. But neither is fully wrong. Using the sensory deprivation tank again is a sign of desperation. Elle is stronger, but she is also tired. Her power has always been tied to pain. Each time she pushes herself, she loses something. Elle ends up finding Will, but she's too late. Vecna knows where Max is. Inside Vecna's mind, the cave represents something he cannot face. Max's idea that the cave is tied to a repressed memory is correct. Monsters avoid their origins. Vecna doesn't want to remember the moment he became what he is. Holly's impatience contrasts with Max's acceptance. Max has learned how to wait, but Holly still believes action matters more. The tunnel memory is the most important revelation of the episode. Henry killing the scientist was self-defense, but it was also the moment where fear turned into violence. The briefcase represents forbidden knowledge, stolen power, and human arrogance. The Mind Flayer did not create Henry. It exploited him. Henry was already vulnerable and already powerful. This mirrors Will's story. Both boys were used, and both were shaped by forces beyond them. The difference is that Henry embraced the voice that promised meaning. Kate Bush playing in the hospital connecting to Max's escape reminds us that memory is resistance. Music is grounding, and it reminds Max who she is. Karen taking down demo dogs is not just a cool moment. It reinforces a recurring theme of ordinary people stepping up when systems fail. Holly's emotional anchor being her toy is honest. She doesn't believe she is brave because she has frozen before, but Max reframes that for her. Bravery is not fearlessness. It is being afraid but doing it anyway. Holly found the tunnel, Holly solved the puzzle, and Holly saved them. Her exit opening is earned. This episode ends not with triumph, but with clarity. The threat is bigger than Vecna. The damage is older than Hawkins. And saving the world will require more than power. It will require understanding. Episode 7 is about false hope. At first glance, it looks like we are winning. Max returns to her body. Holly escapes Vecna's castle, and the group reunites. But beneath all of that movement, the episode tells us something darker. Escape is becoming harder, not easier. Vecna is no longer just reacting. He is organizing. And the people in power are no longer pretending they want to save anyone. Max wakes up and is surrounded by people who fought for her. She is supported, and she is safe, at least for now. Holly's awakening is the opposite. She wakes up alone, violated, and physically restrained in Vecna's castle. The tube down her throat and the black smoke she throws up make one thing very clear. Vecna doesn't just control minds, he occupies bodies. Holly escaping the castle shows us something crucial. Vecna's throne exists in the abyss. This confirms that the upside down is not the final destination. It is a passage. The abyss is the source. It is where Vecna truly belongs, and where his power is strongest. When Holly runs, Vecna doesn't even panic. He pursues her calmly. This shows confidence, because he believes that the space itself is on his side. Holly jumping into the rift is one of the most symbolic moments of the episode. This fall takes her through the Hell's Cape and into the Upside Down's airspace. For a moment, it looks like she is free. Her screams are heard, and she is close enough for Nancy to notice her. But that hope is taken away instantly. Vecna pulling Holly back at the last second is cruel, but it is also calculated. He allows her to believe escape is possible, only to prove that it is not. This is classic psychological control. Let someone almost win, and then take it away. It breaks their will far more effectively than constant punishment. It is also important that Vecna saves Holly from dying. He doesn't want her dead. He wants her alive and useful. Back at Hopper's shack, Will is unraveling. His fear is not just that Vecna accessed his mind again. His fear is that he has always been part of Vecna's plan. Will explains that Vecna used him before to spread the Upside Down's vines across Hawkins. That means Will was not just a victim. He was an instrument. This fear is deeply human. Many trauma survivors fear that what hurt them also changed them in ways they can't undo. Joyce tries to comfort Will, but comfort can't erase knowledge. Once Will understands what he has been used for, he can't go back to ignorance. Max explains her experience to the group. She understands Vecna's space now, and she understands the rules better than anyone else. Vicky warns them that the military is coming, but Karen chooses to stay. The group entering and exiting the Upside Down with relative ease marks a major tonal shift. Earlier seasons treated crossing dimensions as dangerous and unpredictable. Here, it is almost routine. Holly being pulled back into the abyss confirms what the episode has been hinting at. Vecna is not losing control. He is tightening it. Allowing Holly to fall, then taking her back, serves one purpose: to teach her that escape is temporary. Vecna's promise that this will all be over soon is intentionally vague. It sounds comforting, but it is a threat. To Vecna, the end means obedience, not peace. The scenes with Kay, Akers, and Sullivan clarify something important. The military is not here to save Hawkins. They are here to reclaim control. Kay's obsession with 11 is not personal. It is ideological. She sees 11 as a weapon that slipped out of the system. Her speech about killing Soviets reveals the larger context. The Cold War never ended. It just reshaped. When Kay talks about monsters, it does not matter whether she means Vecna, Demogorgons, or children with powers. To her, they are all tools. This mirrors Brenner's thinking exactly. Dustin's explanation of the Upside Down as a bridge between Hawkins and the Abyss is meant to simplify the stakes. The exotic matter is the glue holding this bridge together. Vecna's plan becomes clearer here. He does not want to rule Hawkins. He wants to merge it with the Abyss. The 12 children are amplifiers. The show does not explain why Vecna needs 12 children, and that uncertainty matters. 12 often represents order. 12 months, 12 hours, 12 disciples. Vecna may be trying to impose structure on chaos. But the lack of explanation also reflects Vecna himself. He believes purpose matters more than understanding. The group's plans all share one thing. None of them are good. Steve's idea depends on perfect timing. Nancy's depends on 11 surviving another mental assault, and Dustin's depends on destroying something that might destroy everything else. Max telling Will that Vecna is human is one of the episode's most important moments. She is not excusing him, she's reframing him. If Vecna is human, then he has fear. If he has fear, then he can be reached. This gives Will a reason to fight back, not with power, but with understanding. The argument between Callie and 11 is not really about Kay. It is about inevitability. Callie believes the cycle only ends if the source is removed completely. That includes herself and 11. 11 is not ready to accept that. She still believes in a world where power can exist without abuse. The nod 11 gives Callie at the end suggests doubt, not agreement. Will's speech about being gay is framed as a declaration of strength. He understands that shame is Vecna's strongest weapon. If Vecna can turn identity into weakness, he wins. By claiming his identity openly, Will removes Vecna's leverage. The scene is meant to show that pride is protection. Vecna allowing the children to choose unity is manipulation at its highest level. He doesn't force belief. He manufactures it. By letting the children attack Holly themselves, Vecna proves that their corruption is complete. They are no longer obeying out of fear. They are obeying out of belief. The dinner table scene is deeply unsettling because it mimics family, safety, and ritual. Vecna doesn't want followers. He wants a congregation. Episode 7 is about losing options. Holly loses escape. Will risks losing himself, and the group risks losing control of the situation entirely. Vecna has stopped chasing. He is preparing. The military are no longer hidden. They are mobilizing. The line between monster and system has fully disappeared. The finale is not about stopping Vecna alone. It is about deciding what kind of world survives if he stopped at all. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.